Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Ryan.
I'm coming home, Rachel. I'm coming home to the place where we started it all. Discovery. We've become too content living on Babylon 5, so we have to come back to what made us us. Discovery. Star Trek Discovery.
You're
And
wrong.
I am here back in our home, the home
You're
of
wrong.
Yum Yum.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Wah, wah. Rachel, how are you doing, though?
Well, I was doing better before we started this, so...
What was that? What was that? I couldn't quite hear you through the muttering.
Mumbling,
Mumble-
facetious comment.
No, how are you doing, though?
Alright.
All right?
Alright.
You just doing a bit okay there, governor?
What the fuck was that?
I was doing a book. So, we are here from the YumYumPodcast to talk about Star Trek Discovery.
We are the Yum Yum podcast.
We're from the YumYumPodcast. And Ryan,
bring the Yum Yum.
we're Ryan and Rachel. We are a couple who are married, going through Star Trek Discovery one episode at a time. And we have
Suffering
reached the
through.
end of Discovery as we know it for the moment. Season 5 has yet to be released as of this recording, so we are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery's
jobs, but
season
season
4, episode 13, Coming Home, which gets an IMDb rating number of a 5.7 out of 10. The description of the episode goes as such: as the DMA approaches Earth and Nivar, and with evacuations underway, Burnham and the team aboard the USS Discovery must find a way to communicate and connect with a species far different from their own before time runs out. Oh, lordy, it's another season finale of Discovery, and I'm just going to launch in straight away. This
Sucks.
for me was one that I had no strong opinions of when we watched it that first time. You've heard that tune many a times over when discussing season 4. This, if I had to compare it, is very reminiscent to me of the season 1 finale of this series, where it was a quiet affair, fairly dull, going through the motions of wrapping up the season-long plot, not as offensively stupid, but banging you over the head with themes and leaving you on a note where you could just stop the show. It doesn't have enough of a drive and a hook and a push to want to watch a further season or further adventures.
I would argue that each episode doesn't have that much.
No, but you know it. They do though. They have their constructed things, but here it just ends with, "Oh, we did it."
They have an idea.
I literally don't know what they would do after this. Like after this season, what do they do? Like. There's nothing needed. There's no sense of direction that they can go towards. Well,
they aren't going to be interested in, like, repairing relationships, continuing to spread and reinforce the Federation. They're going to go back to a...
mystery.
A galactic-level mystery.
Some MacGuffin.
Yeah. And we have seen the trailer for Season 5.
Yes, but overall my relationship with this is middling. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Nothing offended me. It was perfectly fine. I wish I could be vitriolic about it, but it was just something that went for an hour.
Well, I guess I'll just give you some of my vitriol and see if it rubs off on you.
Okay, so, relationship and overall thoughts?
It sucks. I think that it's a massive failure because there is no interest
Oh, yeah. It fails.
in it. Like, so that makes me annoyed because, like, I watched this whole season and they wrap it up in such an anticlimactic way because throughout the whole part of them being outside of the galaxy, right, trying to communicate with the 10C, they've been going over and over again. This is slow going. We need to get this, and we need to get that, and we need to get this, and we need to get that, and these things need to be in place before then we can even try and do this next thing, right?
Mm.
But in this episode, it's like bam, 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 convenience here. Mind meld through space here.
Contrivance there.
We can transcribe entire speeches now. There's no complication of communication now.
Oh, don't forget Saru can type real quick. Or cat collar. Really handy, the cat collar.
Don't know where the fuck it came from, but bam!
They did set up that.
It is there. Bam!
They did set it up in the season.
It's not been 5 minutes, but book's gone because it's climactic for the scene and the conversation that they were having.
Don't forget they said verbatim the phrase, "It's about connection." It was very aggravating when that happened because we've been making comments about that in each episode and we pointed out. And I almost want to do a supercut in our season wrap-up of how many times I say connect or connection throughout the season. It's going to be well over a dozen. It will be like at least 10 times. Let's just be generous and say that. But I understand your frustrations because it didn't do anything well. It just did at the base, like at its best, it did things in a way that wasn't annoying.
Here's my compliment for it. It wasn't incompetent.
It highlights that this didn't need to be 13 episodes long of a tale.
That this show doesn't need to exist.
But I know you're being all snippy, Rachel, and that's great. But let's just talk about that first. The 13 episode story. This story went for almost 13 hours long.
Well,
and
wouldn't it pretty much go for 13 hours? Because, like,
not every episode's an hour long.
No,
they have some shorter ones, some longer ones.
Like, they're usually at least 45 minutes, and this last one's like an hour, right?
Yeah, but we're splitting hairs. What I'm saying is it's a long story to tell.
It's too long.
It's longer than what it should be, which is, at max, a movie.
Yes.
Not a particularly good movie, but movie length. This could be a good 90-minute story.
The idea, in other hands, in terms of writers, producers, and most of the actors, keep the camera people. They mostly are able.
No. Get a camera person with 2 arms because Jesus Christ, there was a whole sequence where it looked like there was a cameraman with only 1 arm and like no shins, just feet attached to their knees, hopping around, shaking. Those cameras are big and heavy. They need some fucking steady cams. Shaking all over the place. That poor scene with the admiral.
Seemed like it was on purpose to me.
It was, but it's very bad. What I'm saying is bad camera work.
Yeah, which is, like, I blame the director, not the person holding the camera.
The person holding the camera should also be accountable for the fact that they allowed it. The fact that they said, yeah, sure, boss.
Hey.
I know you're getting paychecks, guys, but okay. The fact that I could do it better is really upsetting.
Well, we think we could do this whole show better.
I want to know, though, from your perspective, you feel similar to me when it comes to how this episode highlights that this story didn't need to be this long.
Yeah.
Did this need to be a story more than a single episode, even? What do you think? I'm being fair to say movie length, but honestly, if this was any other Star Trek show, including Strange New Worlds, would this go for more than one episode?
Probably not. Strange New Worlds is very episodic, so it wouldn't be in its style, as well as its desires, I guess, and the aims of that series to do such a deep dive into this particular concept. Like, the nature of this season is very discovery. Having a central mystery that's explored, and you're getting pieces of information throughout. You get the reveal several episodes before the end of all of the information, and then they pretend to have another revelation in this episode.
It goes through the motions.
Yeah. But
And this is not a finale explosive enough. This isn't action-packed enough or filled with a spectacle or character moments. And again, I have to emphasize, the ending doesn't leave you on anything where it gets you excited for more. So, as a wrap-up to this entire story, it is so obvious how this was something stretched out. That was obvious when watching the individual episodes leading to this, but we know this for a fact that in the modern age of television, there are shows that are stretched out. There are shows that, heck, even 10 episodes is too much, but you get to the final one or the final couple, and it almost and sometimes does make up for it because there's just such an explosive culmination of things.
Something feels earned.
And it leaves you hungry for more or satisfied with the meal of a show you've been given. This, none of that. That's why it reminds me of season 1.
And you know that there's more coming.
Yes, you know there's more coming.
There's more coming. It doesn't matter about the quality is this. Like, it just sort of has that feeling of like a buffet where it's just like, this analogy sort of works for the whole franchise of like, soon enough there's going to be more slop put into one of those dishes.
And this one resembles broccoli.
Yeah.
And this
the
one
broccoli
resembles
will
beef.
be replenished.
Yeah, with more thing that looks like broccoli. It's a buffet
so, like,
that's been running for years, where at one point they did have vegetables, and then at some point the vegetables became like gelatinous and they look like a broccoli.
And each time they try and bring back a special that used to be popular, they try and do it at more of a profit. So they use lower and lower and lower quality ingredients or tweak the recipe to remove things and try and sell it like, this is the thing that you liked before.
A little while ago, I gave a yum yum to an episode because it was structurally sound.
It didn't fail.
It didn't fail in such obvious ways. And you and I, when viewing Coming Home, had a lengthy discussion to the point in which we didn't skip through the intro credits, because usually we do, because they're fucking boring.
I think
the music has never been interesting in Discovery.
The best part of the episode.
No, my favorite part's whenever Nan shows up. But we had a lengthy discussion during the opening credits about how they fail at such obvious things such as raising of the stakes and
Structuring a cold open.
structuring a cold open, because we get
what's different.
Okay,
At the end of this cold open,
what's different than when we started?
At the start, and we were like, nothing.
So
they start the episode with the intimation
and the context of we're in this danger.
Yeah.
The 10C will not let us go. They do not trust us, and they do not understand us. And Taka and Book are free, and they're going to destroy the 10C, and in return, help fuck up our own galaxy. Got it?
Yeah.
We already know that. That's in the previously on. That's in the first 3 minutes of this opener. And so they come up with a plan. What's the plan? How do they come up with a way of more directly communicating with the 10C?
Telepathic the bullshit.
Mind meld. They have a Vulcan, so let's mind meld. And there's no time to worry about if it will hurt her or if it will or will not work.
We're running out of options.
We're running out of options.
We only have 4 hours left.
And they literally say it right there. We're running out of time because of these reasons. They again reinforce the current context and status quo of the threat. So she mind melds and again
she just looks out the fucking window
and puts her hand up.
She just
and
looks out the
you got annoyed at me because I rewound it because I laughed. Her hair, which is a wig, of course, her hair when she does the mind meld, the
blowing in wind.
It gets
Why is there wind?
little puffs of wind blow in her hair, blowing up her sideburns and the side of her hair. And I had a good giggle at that because where's the wind coming from? We're not your daddy's Star Trek, remember, guys? We're not stupid like that old fucking TNG. We're Discovery. We're a broody show that's about isolationalists are bad and Trump America's stupid and faith, connection, family. Loneliness is not the option in a world where we have other people. But wind blows in the hair and yum yum. But she mind melds with the creature. Now, all we get to visualize this is her holding her hand up and wind blowing in her hair and a bunch of shaking camera. We don't get anything else. And some overlays of her own face. We don't really get to see the 10C's reaction.
No, it's just like orangey.
Yeah, because they're in the gas clouds, I guess. And tell me, what transpires? What do we get?
They don't trust us. They don't understand why Taka and Book broke free. And they don't understand.
They won't let us go.
They won't let us go.
They don't trust us.
And they don't understand that they're separate from us.
So nothing changed.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. It would be more effective if it was simply this. I told them the things, they understand, but they don't care about our explanation and they're keeping us here. We have to earn their trust because it's the exact same message. We have to earn their trust, but there is no change of the status quo or context, or there is no raising of the stakes here. It is just the same thing except for we did a Star Trek thing which was mind meld, but it being Discovery, it has to one-up things.
It's such a weird failure.
It's Discovery being, we have to one-up. What happens if we had a mind meld, but with a big alien from far away?
Yeah.
You did jack shit with it. That's what you did. Great job, guys. Guess what? When Spock mind melded with V'Ger, and guess what it did? It escalated the story. It moved it along. It gave us an understanding of what the story was going to be going forward. It did so much. Here, it does nothing.
It does worse than nothing. It does worse than nothing for me. Because at a most basic level, in a story, you are meant to have an introduction and then a complication, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution to a new normal, right?
And some of that's here.
Some of it's here. So we don't really get a proper, new introduction because it is mostly a continuation from the previous episode, but it's not officially a two-parter. So they weirdly set things up again, even though you've just seen them in the previous episode and in the previously on, and then they say it again. So I'm already thinking, wow, you think that I don't understand what's going on. Thanks. Thanks for calling me stupid by your actions. That's what it felt like. And then it's like, okay, all of these characters in this situation, this is clear. In that, they say what the complication is for the episode. But that is part where the introduction is. There's no heightening of the tension because it's already there, but they're pretending like it's not. And it's just like, how are you failing to even achieve the most basic concepts of plot? Like, they're playing sort of paying lip service to that idea by having that sting at the end of the cold open. But because they're continuing on from where they were and they don't actually change anything, it makes it feel even more flat.
Well, there's also something at the core of this where there's a statement to be made about how it does do the things that you're wanting, but from a distance. So it does those things, but for Tilly and the Admiral protecting Earth. It does do those things, but for Jet Reno and Book on his ship against Tarka. While Michael and the crew, none of that really hits to them.
No, but
so
that's
they're the
where
ones
we're spending most of the time.
And they're the ones resolving everything. They're the ones where, when they start to resolve things, we cut to those other two things
the
going...
fate of the galaxy is in
their
Michael's hands.
What I was going to say is, we cut to the other two things, Tilly and the Admiral and Book on the ship. When Michael is resolving the crisis, we cut to those two things with those people reacting, going, my God, she did it.
She did it.
And so they're not working together. There's no community or teamwork within the narratives happening.
Connection.
It is the Dark Knight Rises moment where there's that fucking sea story where the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character has to save the bus full of orphans, and it has fucking nothing to do with anything else going on, except for you get the moment where him and the orphans can look up at Batman taking the bomb out of Gotham, and they look at him with this awe of he's a hero. It's manipulative, it's cheesy, and that's what it is here when you have the Admiral and Tilly getting drunk and celebrating the fact that Michael saved the day yet again. And I felt so angry when watching moments of this because it's just simple adjustments. A lot of it is structural problems, which is why I'm reminded of a couple of episodes. I praised one of the scripts because it didn't have these obvious lapses in writing choices. Well, here we are. You really just need to, as a writing staff, just fucking focus in on things, because as a viewer, I have no real investment or interest in what Michael, Saru, and the crew of Discovery are doing here in this hour-long episode called Coming Home.
Yes.
I was more interested in Taka and Book and Jet because they were actively doing stuff. I was more interested in Tilly and the Admiral because they were at the precipice of the danger succeeding. Michael and Discovery, they're just there too until they can get to the end where they can get Book back, and again, Book is the guy who looks at these aliens and does something and says something that helps wrap things up. You're giving me the gritted teeth look. Like, this is maddening, isn't it?
Oh, God. If only it was just plain bad and stupid like Picard, you would let us quit. It would be easier in lots of ways if it was just a flat out failure in our eyes. Like, there are people who enjoy Discovery, and like, to us it has inherent faults.
They're interesting faults because they're so easy to avoid.
Yes.
And they don't do that. Picard, their faults are so hideous that I don't even think there's ways to adjust from them. Hence, every season is a different show because they fucked it up on at the very core level. Here, there are fundamental problems, but they're ones where they could easily fix them. Just focus in and be real. That's another factor to the distress that we both had with Coming Home. They say the themes out loud over again without any meaning to it. Without any honesty or realism.
I reject your hypothesis.
Oh.
Because, like, I know that I'm not really right when I say this. Like, this is coming from a place of feeling, not a place of thinking. Get that?
You're using your heart instead of your brain.
But I cannot stomach actually calling them themes. Because themes, to me, means that it has a message.
Oh, sorry. Buzzwords. They have buzzwords.
They have big ideas. That's what I call, like, that part of a theme, like family or connection. And then when you're talking about an idea and an insight that a text has, that's what theme is. Otherwise, it's just a big idea or it's a subject. It's the subject of this season is connection.
It is like modern Star Wars, especially those films, where they would say what a theme is, and just because they repeated it a lot doesn't mean it's done well or it is even there. It is a PowerPoint presentation, honestly, where it just is the slide is the word with an emoji next to it that matches said word, and that's Discovery. Connection, cut to two characters holding hands. Family, cut to Hugh, Paul, and Adira.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we could go on.
Two adults and a child looking at a camera. It's a family.
Family. It's about family. That's what makes it so powerful and important. So, let's...
It's painful, right?
Let's break this down bit by bit because there's only really 3 ongoing plots in this one. Tilly's back. She's here dressed in all black and she's worried about her cadets who we see again.
Yeah.
Only some of them, though. Not all of them. Just some.
Just the ones with the most prosthetics.
Yeah, they didn't have the human chick there this time, did they? I didn't notice her. If she was there,
I think she might have been one of the first ones to leave.
Oh, there you go. She was a coward.
But that could have just been another human.
Could it? But, oh, man. But Tilly is back. She's come to the Federation headquarters, and she's going to help the Admiral do a bunch of techno-babble. And they are hovering...
I actually remember. So they are coordinating the evacuation. So they've taken the headquartery ship, and each deck of the ship can be sent off independently.
They even flew the headquarters there. We got a nice CGI shot of it flying.
And there's all of these other ships also helping. But Tilly and the Admiral are at the core part of the headquarters and are staying there to provide cover from the asteroids that are entering the field so that everybody who's in those ships and on the part of the headquarters that are getting broken off and sent off into space can get away safely.
Yes.
Because if they don't provide cover and destroy these asteroids before, they would just hit and kill everybody that's getting evacuated.
And they're using their energy also to help boost the planetary defense shield grid, which I have a point about that a bit later.
We'll get there, honey.
We'll get there. But, so that's what they do. Now, I really want to stress this, though. That's a bunch of things said. We don't really see them do things.
No.
We
they
just
don't even
hear
get to
about
hit buttons on a console anymore because it's hollows and programmable matter.
What we get instead is...
We don't even see Tilly do a...
No.
Sorry.
No, we don't see her do anything.
No. We don't even see her doing those things at her console. She just says, oh yeah, I did this thing off screen. When they're just chilling and having the whiskey.
Yeah.
It's we don't even get to see her doing any of that stuff or being figuring out how to adjust
because
things.
That would be boring. That would be boring for people who watch Star Trek to see the technical stuff happen on the screen.
It made me,
Star Trek fans don't watch Star Trek for that stuff. No. They watch it for the scenes where characters talk about the theme out loud and about family.
It's not that often. It's not that often when watching Discovery that personally I think about old Star Trek. Usually it's so far removed, unless it's a direct reference. I don't often think about it. But when I was watching this, I was just remember the days when Geordi is just I need to take power from these systems, Captain.
Yeah, and he does it on the screen.
To get this. But Tilly's version of that is... the toilets might not flush.
You know who flashed to my brain during all of this? This exact thing could play out, even with the toilet gag and the drinking of the whiskey, but a character who would still be physically doing things would be B'Elanna Torres. B'Elanna Torres would be such a great character for a sequence like this. She would take the moment to have a whiskey and talk about how everything's going to end, but she's also going to open up things and smash wires together, and we'll see that on the screen. And I could see a scene of showing us. This would be a scene between her and Chakotay. I can already see how it would be elevated, even though Chakotay's not a character I like very much. You can already see how that scene would play out because those two characters, them and their dynamics so well. Tilly and the Admiral, honest question, have they ever conversed before?
I knew this question was coming.
Have they?
But I still don't know. I cannot remember I cannot remember.
I know he's talked to Saru and Michael and Paul.
And he would have been on the bridge.
Has he ever been on Discovery? I don't think he's ever been on Discovery, has he?
No.
Has he ever been on Discovery?
Yeah, I think he's been on the bridge. But I was thinking of the bridge on the headquarters, like his little meeting area. I'm pretty sure Tilly has been there with like Michael and Saru.
But they haven't conversed enough for you to believe in any dynamic that they would have. This is the moment where it would give you that, yes?
Typically, yes.
This is the moment where it would give you that. And was it any good?
No. Because I don't remember if they even directly spoke to each other one-on-one before.
No. But here, in this episode, this is their chance to build that dynamic, to build that...
This feels like a payoff.
Oh, it really does.
Feels like a payoff.
You know what it's a payoff of? I'll give you this. No. This is sincere.
Okay.
You have to think for a moment like a Discovery fan, okay? This is a payoff, not to some long-term thing of a relationship or blah, 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 blah. This is a payoff to, hey fans, look at these two characters. They don't get to interact all that often, if ever. Well, we're doing it now. That's the payoff. Because there is that air to it, isn't there? There's that air of confidence and that air of, isn't this cool? Because it's two characters that we don't get to see on screen together, and they're talking and they're having moments together and they're sharing personal stories, and that isn't invalid. That can be very rewarding. That can be very beneficial. It is like, say, for instance, that episode where Q lost his powers and he was teamed up with Data, where those two characters had talked before, but they had never been bonded like that together. It was always Q and Picard or Q and Riker. So it was Q and Data, and that was a really fun dynamic, and it gave you so much.
Excuse me, right? Sorry. Can I scooch past?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to go chase after my eyes because they rolled out the back of my head because I rolled them so hard, and I think they're like halfway up the driveway.
Oh yeah, you need Rachel. Why are you grabbing your car keys? You don't have eyes.
I just gotta go get my eyes. Like, it's bin night tonight. Rachel, I don't want them to accidentally end up.
Rachel, why are you packing your bags?
Like they're. Like,
why are you taking your wedding ring off, Rachel?
Like, if they just keep on going, they're gonna end up in the local hospital, and they might get transplanted. I just need to scooch past a little bit.
Rachel, why are you leaving? Come back.
Come on.
Why are you signing divorce papers, Rachel? No. But the majority of their story is taken up with them just sharing stories together, drinking to the demise of the human race and their own demise, and bestowing Federation values. And if this was in a story with two characters I cared more strongly about, this would mean something. So that's why I have a harder time discrediting this or throwing this into the trash like I will with the other plots, because there are people who watch Discovery who are that invested, who are driven, and who are getting rewarded for having these two, who are getting rewarded for having Vance and Tilly share these things together and grow together. I can see that. I don't feel that. And in a show about feelings, it's very important to have that.
Another specific problem with this. So, like, okay. I don't think this is inherently a problem with the show, with the dialogue, right? But sometimes there are certain lines that just rub you up the wrong way because you think about them in a certain way, or you think the logic through further than the writers did. Right? And this is also a contextual thing of I've engaged with other media recently that's made me hyper aware of certain things.
Yeah, Chesapeake Shores.
No.
Grey's Anatomy.
No.
Gilmore Girls.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what line I'm going to pick on?
Go on.
From Tilly's. Okay.
Go on.
So Tilly's as long as your kid knows that you love them, that's enough. And I recently, just about every gosh darn millennial listened / many people have read the memoir, I'm Glad My Mum Died.
Oh, the
from Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And she always knew that her mum loved her.
Oh, but her mum was insane.
Her mum did plenty of fucked up shit.
Well,
and she knows that her mum did fucked up shit and her mum loved her. We know that in lots of ways Tilly's own mum
loved
her, but was also manipulative.
Oh, I didn't respect her. That's
toxic.
Yeah.
And Tilly's just kind of wiping away those things and those possibilities of
she's grown.
If you just love your kids, then everything's okay.
She's grown though. See, she used to think
her mum's long dead, so I guess it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. Here's where I struggle, and I call this very similar to my struggles in the film A Quiet Place. We, as the audience, have not seen any evidence of why there would be any concern that his child thinks that they aren't loved by him. We haven't been shown any evidence of that. Why would they think that? Why would we be concerned about that? And here's another problem. Here's another problem to it, Rachel. He has not been in the season that much for me to worry about this thing for a character. I don't give a shit about Vance. I don't give a shit about his daughter. I don't give a shit about Tilly either. She hasn't been here all season. Now she's back and they treat it like guys. It's Tilly, which, fair enough, she used to be a main character in the show. And she hasn't been here since episode 3.
But here's the thing, right? It kind of makes sense that Vance regrets not spending more time with his kid, right? Because for years, after the burn and before pre-Michael fixing the universe,
they weren't
together. But we have no reason or understanding that he has not started to make up for lost time, right?
We've
got nothing of his daughter being Daddy, spend time with me, and him being
no,
our
darling.
entire universe is falling apart, and there's this alien species.
Well, he's been sidelined so much by the president that
we don't see that. We don't get a feel for that.
No, he's been sidelined by Cronenberg and the president so much in the season that, if anything, it looks like he's been alleviated responsibility rather than burdened with more to cause a stress between him and his daughter.
The thing that we saw, I swear at the end of the last season, it was him being reunited with his family, right?
Another dagger to the heart.
And it's just and now it's the same thing this season?
Well, another dagger to the heart of this. And Discovery fans, feel free to argue with me about this. I'm open. But I'm going to play by Discovery's rules. There was, 3 months since last season and this season, however many months it was. Remember at the beginning of this, they really emphasized it's been this many months.
Yeah, they said it a lot.
And they said a lot, so then they could say all of these conflicts that we had, such as Paul and Michael's bad blood, well, that's resolved now because it's been 3 months.
The entire
Emerald Chain has dissolved and we've fixed it. It's been 3 months.
No power vacuum here, people. No power vacuum here.
Tucker is this well-regarded and beloved scientist who's made the spore drive thing within the last... So I'm going to play by their rules. Well, in the last 3 months, I would assume that his relationship with his daughter is completely fixed and there wouldn't be any concern. Oh, but Ryan... that hasn't been shown in the show. Yeah, just like all the other things I mentioned. But the show says them.
It. Or have a line earlier in the season.
Or the show doesn't even say them, but just expects you to know that. And so I'm going to play by their rules. So in the last 3 months since season 3 and 4, him and his daughter shouldn't have any concerns about this. And why we are hearkening on this is all dialogue stuff. None of it is earned because we haven't got to know this Admiral character all season. Tilly, all season, basically. First 3 episodes, then she's gone. Now we're coming back in, and they're treating this like this is the culmination of a season-long arc for both of these characters that we haven't seen on the screen. But we have to take it because they're saying it so emotionally.
Ryan, I really need to go get my eyes.
Sorry, your eyes have dissolved in the rain like tears.
Like that. I know they're bags of water, but I like them.
So
I would like them back in my face.
I just want to wrap up the Vance side of the story, the Vance and Tilly side, by mentioning that Earth is narrowly saved because all of the events happening outside of the galactic barrier, but another contributor to the safety of Earth is the shielding that they have that is encompassing the planet, which was seen last time we saw Earth in People of Earth, my favorite episode of Star Trek Discovery. Please listen to our discussion of People of Earth to hear a very ecstatic and overjoyed Ryan Sliwinski. But it is so hilarious to me. And you and I talked at the same time saying the exact same thing, which was in the Michael side of the plot, they have to convince the 10C to get rid of their hyperfield, and that hiding behind a shield and a wall isn't actually going to save you, and that it is just a means to an end to make you feel safe. But meanwhile, on Earth, a place that's hiding behind a shield and a wall for safety and protection proves that it actually is good, and that you actually should do that, because it will minimize danger and harm and risk, and the isolationist attitude actually paid off there. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I think it's more stupid than weird, to be honest.
Do they not see the dissonance?
No.
Are we the only ones that do?
No, I hope other people do too.
Like, that's not a bizarre thing to point out, is it? Like, we're not stretching there, right? That is weird. That is something that you should get rid of in your script. Like, another pass-through of the script, somebody would point that out and say, hey, you're saying this over here, but over here you're contradicting that. Shouldn't you fix that up, considering it's also one of the cornerstones of the messaging of the entire season? What's that? We're out of time. We've got to get Stacey Abrams to come in to do a little
Sorry,
cameo.
Ryan. Can you pick that up?
We'll pick what up? Your eyes again?
No.
Your tongue? Your jaw?
My will to continue.
Oh, you lost that years ago.
Yeah, it's over by you. If you just drop Yum Yum Trek, you can pick up my will to continue and give it back to me. And you won't do it.
Oi, you, Rachel.
Didn't you kill my brother?
Didn't you kill my brother? Did anything happen in the book side of this? Other than he broke free?
Collar to break free and to punch Lorca. And
Not Lorca, Taka, please. I wish it was Lorca, baby. I miss that boy. Oh, man. So...
I don't know if I can do this right. I don't know if I can do this.
Did anything happen?
No, nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. We're just told things.
Did nothing happen with Book and Taka other than Taka was defeated?
Yeah, and died.
Well, he could have actually gone to the other galaxy.
I don't think so.
No one does. No one does. No sane
he
human does.
Even really,
no one believes
Book
it.
doesn't believe it. Talk is it's either that or die anyway.
And Jet doesn't care. And so...
Jet wants some hot and sour soup?
What was that? What the fuck was that statement?
No, I'm just hungry.
You know what's very funny about that? It's supposed to be a comedy, which is very sad considering Tig Notaro is a well-respected comedian.
State of affairs.
But what it is a time-wasting comments. There's lots of moments like that in the episode where characters...
this does not need to be an hour.
Oh, yeah, but where characters say things or do things that just halt the momentum of whatever we were doing in the moment, and it just halts it for nothing. For nothing. What did that add?
Well,
absolutely
sorry,
zero.
you're talking about something specific or this entire season?
Book.
I feel like
Book got the cat collar, and because he programmed it for his cat, means that he can now get through the shielding, and he uses
disrupt
that.
The hollow.
And so he gets through his own prison and takes Tig Notaro out, and then the best moment of the episode happens, which is he punches Taka in the face with the cat collar wrapped around his fist, so his fist can go through the shielding. That was excellent, actually. That was perfect.
Good.
That was a perfect moment.
That moment gets a yum yum.
Now, could you, since you paid attention a little bit more than I did to the nitty gritty details,
don't make me think about this.
Why, after knocking Taka out, did they keep Taka on the ship, and he tried to bargain with a man that could not be bargained with? Why did that happen?
I believe that they kept Taka on Book's ship initially. Do you mean why do they transport Tig?
I know why they transport Tig, because she's done and doesn't need the paycheck anymore. But why do they keep Taka on his ship, and then why does Book try to persuade him when he knows he can't be persuaded?
But he is persuaded. That's the thing.
Is he? Because all that really happens is they start talking, he moves him a little, and then they're crashed into, and then Book just leaves him behind.
They do have a little conversation about what's happening with the 10C and that
peace was an option, and you blew it up.
Yeah, and then Talk is a bit my bad, and then
Yeah, Tarka's
Book's like,
that,
it's not too late to turn this around. And then Tarka's like, I used that specific algorithm. I can't turn it around. We don't have enough time. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, like the same program that he did that fucked them over when Discovery attached themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they used like the programmable antimatter was attacking them or whatever fuck that particular sort of technobabble was. So Book woke up Tarka to see if Tarka could stop the ship.
What's hilarious, though, is he wouldn't do it anyway. That's the thing, like, he wouldn't do it anyway. He said and done actions that prove that. And when Jet Reno, now, this is also an episode clearly written by people who are not interested in Star Trek, because I had a red pen out almost with scenes where I clicked it and would go, no, they wouldn't act like that. This is how they would actually do it. So Jet Reno would not transport off that ship to go back to Discovery. Jet Reno and Book would stay there and try to work out how to undo this thing, because it's Book's ship and Jet Reno's an engineer who actually understands some of his equations, some of Tarka's work. So bang, bang, bang. And same with the side of Michael's things where it's like, the general has betrayed us. Lock her in her quarters until we need her later. No, brig. Put her in the brig. She's not good enough to be put in quarters.
She's friends with the president of the Federation.
She's done too many horrible actions. Brig. Bam. You did a bad thing. You're going in the bad guy prison. And there were many, many, many moments where my red pen clicked and
Ryan!
I just wanted to give them a note on their homework saying, you needed to do this. Please do this next time. This was incorrect. Put a exclamation mark over this.
What if they never rebuilt the brig?
Yeah, I have no clue. Do they have a brig on this ship anymore? I remember they used to use it to torture people in it.
Yeah, and Laurel lived there for a while.
Yeah, Laurel lived there for a while. I'm sure they've had. That's right. They could have used it to put Arium in, but rather they spaced her. Because that was funny. Yeah, you know what though? I'm glad that the Tarka stuff is over, because it means that the bullshit conflict can be over. I have enjoyed his character, that performance, as have you, and the fact that he was a villain with layers and definition, but that does not negate the fact that his actions throughout the season were just generators of bullshit drama. Just here we go, more bullshit, more cow poop. Isn't that correct?
More cow poop. More cow pats. Cow pats for the galaxies.
I mean, you feel similar to me about that, right?
Yeah.
Like, when Tarka was done and dusted in this, did you feel anything about it? Did you have an opinion on it even?
No!
It just was a thing
like, well,
where... Oh, you blew up, I guess.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's odd, right?
Yeah.
Because typically you have dynamic characters that are changed because of the plot. And you'll have static characters that remain the same despite the plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
They treat Tarka like he is a dynamic character while showing him to be a static one. And I don't understand.
I don't understand either. It just is... Again, the writers almost have stuff, and then they just let it slip through their fingers. When he explodes... I have no opinion on it. I'm not saddened. I'm not even thinking that he made it to another universe. I'm not overjoyed at the fact that
atomized.
He's atomized from my brain. It is just, another villain to add to the pile of bodies. Discovery does not let its bad guys live and learn. They just are killed. Just shoot him in the head and that's it. None of them live to learn.
Does Michael's mum count?
No, she's just a villain to me. And, you know, it's just a thing that happens.
But Michael's mum's safe.
I can't wait for her.
Michael's mum's safe, rehabilitating the crazy logic.
I can't wait for her to come back next season and do some more bullshit. Honestly, can't wait. Can't wait for Gabriel Burnham to come back.
Please let my suffer again.
We've avoided talking about the Michael plot more directly and head on because most of it's taken up by dealing with General Ndoye, and we don't like that character very much. She is
She's
a troublemaker.
Brilliant military tactician.
Okay, she's the best pilot too. I don't like her.
So good. She's so good at military tactics that she comes up with the solution, and so good at a suicide mission that she doesn't get killed.
She is a character where she does despicable things. She does things that deserve to be reprimanded, punished, and called out. But the writers love her so much that they don't actually abide by those things. So Book can get punished at the end of this. Book is in trouble. Book can go to jail and...
Book is accountable for his actions.
Yes, he's accountable for his actions.
But
And
motivations matter, Ryan.
histories and motivations matter. While the general, who also did absolutely atrocious things, stay in your quarters. And come back out when we call you. Oh, you did a thing that was also noble, like how Book did? You're fine. In fact, stand with your president and be framed as a noble, heroic character? I have no...
When Earth would not have been as damaged if you didn't do the plasma vent.
It's her fault. It's her... She let Book and Taka fuck around with Discovery as well. Like, she's a traitorous little bitch, and they just reward her. There's no repercussions for her, because the writers like her. Because the writers like these little side characters so much that they're not willing to hold them accountable. They only hold the villains and our main characters occasionally accountable. And so when a character like the General does something despicable like this and doesn't get a proper punishment, it makes me hate previous scenes where, say, that linguist guy, the doctor, he got held accountable for being a smart aleck. And it's like, that was a whole storyline. And it's like, why does that fucking matter when this lady can do, like, traitorous actions that almost lead to genocide, but we won't waste the time to hold that person accountable. Except for stay in your quarters until we need you. And then, oh my god, we need a really great pilot. They look over to Detmer, and Detmer gives them that look of, remember me? I'm one of the main characters of the show. I had a whole arc in season 3 about my flying. And then they look over, and the General's like, it's me. I'm the best pilot. Which, I
have years of experience that we've never mentioned before.
And as somebody who's watched People of Earth, I actually know for a fact she's not the best pilot because the pirates from Titan kicked her ass over and over again.
Over and over again.
Do they not know their show? The answer is yes, they don't know it. I know it. Hire me. I'll do it for you. There's the great fake tension that Book died. Did you cry? Michael did. It meant nothing because she's cried too many times for it to feel real.
But like she doesn't do the full, like she doesn't fall to her knees. She just sort of does a quarter bow.
Is it weird that she
but
seemed
like
more...
holding her stomach so it's like a lurch forward, and it allows them to like still like get the money shot of her face as she does it.
Is it weird that she seemed to have a stronger emotional reaction to the loss of Arium than her own boyfriend?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
As she says something like that.
Is that weird? Is that weird? Because she seemed more broken up about that. Maybe because, writing-wise, Arium does stay dead.
Arium does stay dead, and she saw it more as a direct personal failure.
I mean, it is also a direct personal failure in this case because she was the one that ordered the ship to ram Book's ship and help kill him.
She didn't lose the signal.
Well, she thought she did, but then she didn't. And
no, but like she wasn't the one at the console.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's fucking Nilsson's fault and her wig. Oh, the wig shots.
They changed the wig finally.
At the very end.
The last shot, she doesn't have those 2 barrel curls.
She does, but she also has her hair out of a ponytail, so it's less overtly disgusting.
No, she has a half updo.
When Michael is giving the big heartfelt speech, and then when Book gives a big heartfelt speech to the 10C, I just could not help but keep thinking about how realistically Saru would tell them that they need to either slow down or simplify it because he's having to type all of this out, and that they're saying really complex, nuanced things that may be hard to break through a language barrier.
I didn't understand the word us like 20 minutes ago.
Saru doesn't even understand human things, and he's a guy that's lived with us for ages, but they're talking, and the 10C might as well, they may have CGI'd a tear onto them, because they are moved, and then Rachel...
They're also moved by Book doing the empathy thingy.
Here's a payoff to what Michael said in season 4, episode 1. Do your empathy power. That will help save the day. See, guys? He did it.
You fucking did it.
He did it, and now they... Hey, I mean this. I don't want a facetious answer. I want a genuine answer. No snark.
I don't know if I have anything but snark left to fuel.
No. Seriously. I just want to have a real moment of discussion here. Was the season about environmentalism? Because they shove that in here where Book gives them the big, no, you guys can't do this, you're leaving toxic waste behind and you gotta clean up your... Was that what the season really was about?
That's been a part of it. Yeah, that I like the fact that it's a mining operation. So by nature, in our context, it's analogous to fossil fuels.
Yeah, but
or perhaps to fracking?
Did the season explore that though?
No.
Would you say that was what the season was about until this moment? Like, if they didn't have this moment, would you have even said this season was about environmentalism?
No, I would just say that it had a mining ship.
There you are.
Like, Red Dwarf is set on a mining ship, and that is not about environmentalism.
Nope. This season did not have that strong enough as a theme in it. It was too busy about connection and family and connection and understanding and peace and communication. So when Book had this big moment where he should have just looked into the camera and the fucking Captain Planet theme played, I laughed. I laughed out loud when they tried to turn around and say that this season was about environmentalism the whole time. I fucking lost my mind at that, Rachel. I
was there.
My jaw hit the floor because I've seen the season.
I had to help you pick it up, unlike you.
With your eyes. I have seen this season before. Did not even remember that this was supposed to be about environmentalism the whole time.
I don't think it's meant to be about environmentalism the whole time. I think they just realized that near the end. They were like, we can do this thing too.
We can add that there, guys. Let's add that at the end. That'll be meaningful.
You know what? It's a big mining thing. We can mine. We can do this thing.
So, the ending we have mentioned in a couple of episodes already meant a lot to people outside of us. We are not from America. We have no interest in American politics or American political figures. We have no care for it.
We are forced to have some awareness.
This is the first time I've ever heard of this lady. Who lost recently in the elections, so she did not succeed at what the staff of Discovery was hoping she would succeed at. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just pointing out facts. When this happened, and I saw it last year, I saw this after I had seen one or two pictures and people making a fuss about it on both the positive and negative side. There are those people who were, I can't believe Star Trek got this politician lady, how fucking pandering, or how fucking woke. And then I had the other side that I saw where people were like, it's so beautiful that they got her here because she really is the future and she really is the embodiment of Star Trek and the message, and she's a Trekkie in real life. So I did see a little bit of that discourse before I saw this. So I was expecting it to matter a little bit more when she came in. Like, I was expecting...
I'm glad I wasn't burdened with that.
More of a scene dedicated to something, but instead it really is she walks out and says, we gotta work hard. Mm-hmm. And people...
We didn't know that already. Thank you.
I mean... We can answer this definitively. Does this little stunt casting influence the quality of the show?
No.
So much of a no, you were yawning the entire time, me asking, because it means so little. You're just like, oh, yeah, that doesn't mean nothing.
No.
It's not one of those stunt castings where it influences, like when TNG had Stephen Hawking on. That was one of those where it's like, oh. Or, again, when I think it was TNG had one of the astronauts, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but they had an astronaut on there as one of the Enterprise crew, and it was like, oh, there you are. A real-life person who's been to space is playing a character that's in space. How beautiful. But again, that wasn't even a big statement. It was just, there it was. Here, it's a glory shot. It didn't
have an agenda inherently. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, and here's this person. But because this individual is inherently political, her casting is also a political decision.
And the glory shots of her and making her the president of Earth, and I'm fine with that, but okay, here's what I'll say. I would be more fine with that if there was something more to be said within the episode about it. But really, all it is there is for those clickbait reactions to it, for people to clap or for people to groan or shout. It doesn't have any real meat to it. It is just, hey, we got her. But there's nothing in the scene that is anything more than just
it doesn't
that.
mean anything.
And for us, and for many people who are not familiar with this person, we're just sitting there getting nothing, like absolutely nothing, but confusion because with how the camera frames
like
her.
Is this meant to be somebody I know? It feels like it's like I meant to know that person.
Is this a reference to some legacy character? There was that, because Star Trek Discovery is very much like that. Or is this a cast member that I'm not knowing? But no, it's just some political person who, okay. I mean, sure, if you're an American and you have a strong opinion one way or the other on her being here, great. Means nothing to me. Means jack shit to you, Rachel. And another layer to how this season of Discovery felt so very American to me. So very American. And in other words, distant. I felt further away from Star Trek than I have in recent years because of that added to it as well. There's always a level of Americanness to this because it is an American show, but gee whiz, there's just so many moments in season 4 where it just became so rah America, manifest destiny, look how great we are, and I just wince at it so hard.
Yeah, I'm pretty done. Are we good to wrap up?
I got a word for you. Hugh Dar. Hugh Dar, it's the part of the show where we talk about Dr. Hugh Culber, who is a series regular, one of the main cast. He's the ship's doctor. He's not the doctor of the ship. He is the ship's doctor in terms of he's one of many.
He's a counselor.
And we first see him in the episode. It takes a little while. We're in the med bay, but we're not seeing everything fully after
then we see him smiling.
Tarina had mind melded and they need medical treatment. And he smiles and has no lines of dialogue and is told to leave. So and the other doctor
he's
leave.
Like, let's give Saru and Tarina some space.
But they do it with just a little head nod.
Yeah.
Head nod. And then him and the other doctor leave.
Yeah. It's not
no
like,
lines.
Oh, let's get the fuck out of here. It's like, oh, let's give them a moment.
I cannot...
Because Hugh's in the loop for the goss. He doesn't need to know anything. He's already spilled that tea.
Oh, and Saru loves tea. That was set up in season 1. Remember that, guys? I do. Hire me, Star Trek Discovery.
It was one of the things that they bonded over was the tea.
Yeah, and remember how he also needed high sugar intake and he had a high metabolism, so he was always gnawing on things and grazing?
Remember how...
I remember.
This is meant to be about Hugh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we got off topic immediately. Oh, I wonder why. So Hugh's had a season-long arc of feeling trauma. And
that's not resolved.
No, it is because he chose family.
He chose family, and they're going on a fucking holiday to somewhere.
Do we see it?
No, we're told that.
Oh no, that's it.
They're going like somewhere related to Hugh's heritage, and Stamets decided that they should go there so that he can get a certain food not made by a replicator, because those replicators use shit.
Use poo-poo. That is correct. Why are they afraid? Why are they afraid as a show? to actually give us those romantic, tender, beautiful scenes of a relationship between these two men. Why are they afraid? Because it's...
Maybe their relationship's not romantic in that way.
Yet they tell us it is. They tell us, let's go on a holodeck walk through the garden and blah, blah, blah. We never see it. We never see it. We get the toothbrushing scene in season 1. We get scenes of them saying, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. You're the best. And a little kiss on the cheek.
You're not okay. Let's go do this thing. Or you're not okay. That's okay.
Why are they afraid?
Well, they don't do a good job at showing romance anyway. Like the Torina and the Saru stuff
is the most that we got this season.
Yeah, and it's better than the Ash Michael romance.
Oh, anything is. Me cutting off my own penis is better than the Ash Michael romance because at least there's less rape in it. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's also better than the Chakotay and Seven romance. Like, it's not a high bar to get over, is it?
No, but
I don't know.
It's a point of comparison within the series.
Hugh did nothing in the episode other than he chose family.
He chose family.
That was never in doubt, by the way.
Instead of him going down on...
Was that in doubt? Talking about Admiral Vance and family, was that ever in doubt for Hugh? Choosing family. Was that a problem he had?
No. But, like...
But they treat it like he chose family.
Yeah, like... It doesn't seem like that big of a deal for him to be on the ship where they are broadcasting the conversation between the 10C and the Discovery crew, or him being one of the many people standing in the background on the planet where they're having the conversation between the Discovery crew and the 10C.
If anything, him being a doctor, it would be a dream to be with them physically so he can scan
Michael's
things.
Michael's the xenoanthropologist.
Anthropologist is different to biologist, so but hey, we're giving Hugh something to do, and he's not allowed that. He was superfluous, a complete waste of space. He chose family, and when he said that and when they did that, it really just rang alarm bells of the writers being ham-fisted, manipulative, and lazy, because what they want is for you, the audience, to have a delighted emotional reaction to seeing these three bond with each other as they worry that everything's going to go wrong. To see this queer family on the screen and go, yes, that's beautiful. It is, that's beautiful. But the fact that they have it be this half-hearted notion that Hugh has finally come back and he's chosen us and now we can be together, when that was never an issue at play.
No, it wasn't.
That is the Huda. Now, Coming Home is one of the higher rated episodes of season 4.
Wow.
It is one of the higher rated ones. And so I want you to give it thought on our rating system of Yum being bad and Yum Yum being good. What would you give the season 4 finale, Coming Home?
Do you want me to give you my thoughts or my rating first?
What you decide.
Well, if I just give you my rating, does that feel like I've actually thought it through and pondered it?
Depends how you say it.
I give this episode a yum.
Yum.
Was that enough pretending that I thought about it?
I really wish that you thought about your rating before you said it out loud, Rachel. It really feels like you kind of pulled it out of your ass and that you really wanted to give it a yum yum, but you didn't want to conform. So
I didn't want to conform. form?
Yeah.
Are you going to give this a yum yum?
Rachel, this episode was such a fucking blast. I am going to give it...
Fucking what?
I'm going to give it what I have given so many episodes in our watch, a yum.
Yum.
This doesn't deserve a yum yum. Of course it doesn't. I'm not insane. This failed at structure, which was your one thing that you gave which is
a
the
yum yum
one
for.
thing I gave a yum yum for in this season was there was an episode that had a proper structure, proper character work, and a proper A-B story. This couldn't...
And an away mission, too.
This couldn't be fucking asked to do that, and it replaced it with nothing. That's the thing. If you're not going to do the standards, at least replace it with something interesting, even if it's a glorious mess.
Ryan, I'm sorry, but I need to run really soon.
Yeah, I can see that your legs are jolting up and down as you want to write down all of the requirements for our season 4 recap, which we'll be back with next time.
You have those lists of questions ready.
Yeah, but you're writing down which was your favorite episode and why. Who was the best character this season and why.
Yep.
The best moment. What was the yum yum moment of coming home?
Save it for the wrap up.
No, what was the yum yum moment of
I don't fucking remember, okay?
Oh, come on. It's when Book punched Tarka in the face through the shield because he had the cat collar on. That was such a glorious scene.
I know.
Such an absurd moment that I cheered.
Soup was pretty good.
That was a waste of time, so I agree. Now, we can be found on social media
at
under
YumYumPod or YumYumPodcast, and if you want to email us, you can do so if you address that email to yumyumpod@gmail.com. And if you want to hear even more of us talking about things, you can check out our other main feed show, Yum Yum 5, where we're talking about Babylon 5. Also in a rewatch capacity. If you're interested in maybe, I don't know, seeing what it's like when I haven't watched a show and Ryan has, you need to go over to the Patreon and check out Yum Yum Beyond, where we're watching Space Above and Beyond. And there's so many other shows.
Oh, we have
content.
covered so much stuff on our Patreon, and you get to be a part of a group Discord if you join.
Bang for your buck.
Lots of bang for a minimal amount of buck. So come on over to our Patreon, Yum Yum Podcast on Patreon. All of the stuff we've said here is in the description of our episode. It's been provided for you. If you have not rated and reviewed the podcast, if you have not lifted up your finger and given us a 5-star on, say, Spotify or Apple or Podchaser or Audible or whatever you use.
We really do appreciate.
Yeah, it would be something nice. I would get a smile, as would Rachel. And Rachel needs a smile after having watched season 4 of Discovery. She did this for you and for me. For me as well. She also did this for me because we're married, and the ring gets tighter the longer you get away from Discovery. So to loosen that, we needed to get a little Discovery in us.
Before we started recording this, you made a bet with me.
Oh, yeah. I made a bet if you could remember the title of the episode.
And you gave me half of it, and I guessed half of it. And then you told me that I could get half of the money.
Yeah.
And then told me to go to my own bank account and get it.
Yeah. That's where the money is. It's our bank account. It's our shared bank account.
I want to do a bet or a wager. Do a wager. If we don't get at least 5 stars, 5-star reviews that use the word yumlings in it, we don't do season 5.
Oh, don't do that, Rachel. We've got to do season 5. Cronenberg's back, and he's got a Rubik's Cube for them to solve.
I think 5-star reviews
Wow,
is a pretty low bargain.
You're threatening them. That's not fair. What I thought you were going to say was, if the Yumlings out there don't say, "Thank you, Rachel, for your service," then you won't come back, because you do this for them. You don't do this for yourself, and this was a bit of a struggle, but hey, we're here, we're done, we're dusted. We did season 4. I didn't think we were going to be able to,
One more episode.
We'll be back next time with our season 4 recap. I can't wait. I'm going to make a challenge with both of us. Neither of us are going to look up what the episodes were about, but we're both going to try and guess from the title what happened, which one it was.
Okay.
And then we'll see how correct we were.
Play along at home.
Play along at home, people. That is all. Until next time, remember that Commander Nandi showed up in this season. For some reason.
Bye.